Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Tim Rumler podcast, where we highlight local businesses here in the Lansing area, particularly focusing on real estate, startups, and other businesses and the successes that they're having at this time. Today, I have somebody I've been trying to get on here for a little while, was absolutely open to the idea and talk a little bit about media, content creation, and especially the use of it within inside the real estate market. It's a pleasure to welcome Caleb Lewis to the program. Caleb, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Tim. It's good to finally be here, and yeah, glad to be here.
Perfect. So, Caleb, let's talk here for a moment. Are you from the Lansing area originally?
Originally, no. I'm actually from a little city called Milton, Washington, about 30 minutes south of Seattle. Um, Went to school in Oregon. From there, was there for 5 years. After that, lived in LA for a few years. Worked at CBS. Sometimes I mumble and it sounds like CVS, but CBS. And I was there for a few years, and then decided to make a move out here to Michigan in November 2017. So it's been almost 5 years now.
Nice.
And there's been some ups and downs, definitely, but I would say I've really enjoyed being in the community, being a part of the community, how much the community has taken me in as one of their own, and then just being more involved and helping it grow.
Perfect. Perfect. You like the Michigan weathers? Is it compared to the rainy, cold weathers of
Ooh,
the West Coast?
the winters are definitely something else, to say the least. It's like unlike anything else I've ever been near, especially coming from sunny California over here to Michigan. But like especially right now in October, I've come to love this area. It's beautiful with all the different colors. I've been up to the Tunnel of Trees a few times.
Yeah.
Or sorry, once this year, and then I'm going again in this week. Took the drone up a little bit. I like to, especially when the trees are like this, fly over and get as many colors and stuff as possible. But yeah, it's I've been here 5 years, and I've really enjoyed it.
Perfect. And that I'm assuming that's where your love. You and I became friends through Facebook a little bit in real estate. Your love of the Mariners, does that come from the West Coast?
Yes, it does. I've been a diehard Mariners fan for far too long, and we finally broke the streak.
Yeah.
Ended up going to the playoffs. I went to the Toronto game, where they were down 8-1 in the sixth inning.
Yep.
We came back to win 10-9. It was absolutely insane. A lot of fun, and so that was definitely, I would say, like a childhood dream come true. I've been the last time they went to the playoffs, I was 9 years old. So it's been a little bit, and it was really good time. And Toronto and Canada is an awesome place in general.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Well, a little bit more about. I think it's always important to know where an individual's background is to get a full appreciation for their business acumen. So let's talk a little bit about your early years. You grew up in the West Coast. How about siblings? What did your parents do? What type of student was young Caleb? How about siblings?
Just so sorry about that. Oh, you want to hear? So you want to do that again, or should I just go right
Yeah.
into it?
How about early family life? Siblings? What did your parents do?
Yeah, so I had an older brother, Ryan. He was 11 years older than me, but he started his own business when he was 17.
Okay.
And ever since seeing that, I wanted to do the same thing.
Nice.
It took a little bit longer. About I was about 30 or 29 when I took over a business.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did that. My sister, she's working to be a physician's assistant right now.
Nice.
She's my younger sister by a few years,
Mhm.
and she just bought a house up in the Seattle area. Awesome, beautiful house. The real estate up there is a little bit different than it is here in the Lansing area.
How about what your parents do? Were they in business at all?
My mom, when I was younger, she went back to school to become a respiratory therapist,
Oh.
and to this day, she's been doing that. She's about to retire in this next year or so, and then she was single mom raising the three of us. So she's a pretty badass mom. My dad growing up was a limo driver, and that was actually when he'd come pick me up every now and then. He'd come up in a town car or a limo and stuff, and made me feel real cool. First date one of the first dates I got to go on with a girl. I got to take her out on a limo with a limo driver. That was my dad. So that was really cool. Yeah.
What type of student was young Caleb? Were you a strong student, or did you have interests in things that you knew, media or otherwise? Was that even starting to come in back then, or what were you art? Were you arts? Were you math and science? What were your strengths?
All through grade school, I would say math and science were definitely my focus. I was in all throughout high school, in the honors, the APs.
Yeah.
I was terrible at studying, but I really enjoyed being in those classes and just kind of pushing myself as much as I could. I really enjoyed school. I just loved being a class clown around as many people as possible. Neither of those have died to this day. But yeah, and I really love school. And especially even when I got to go to college, it was another 5 years.
Yeah. So let's dive right into the media. Where did your initial interest come into media? Talk to me about the early days with you and media, and what kind of media were you doing? Were you doing young teenager YouTube? Were you doing, and what kind of mentors did you have that kind of encouraged you in that field?
Yeah, so I would say one of my best friends of all time, Michael, he was in video class, like a broadcasting class, with a few of our other friends, and it looked like they were having so much fun all the time.
Right.
I was in band, so I didn't have when I first was coming in high school, I didn't have the opportunity to do it. But as soon as I did, in my sophomore year of high school, I got into it. I've always liked cameras. I've always liked being able to take pictures since I was a little kid. Originally, I got into, it was more videography, and it took quite a while after to get into photography like I am now.
Yeah.
My first exposure pretty much was in high school, and we did a monthly broadcast called Trojan TV. It was about an hour-long broadcast, different stories, different kind of like a funny story here and there. Most of them were funny. Just kind of detailing a recap of the month before and recap or kind of what's going forward and stuff.
Yeah.
That really got my interest going into it. And I would say mentor wise, probably not necessarily a mentor that I knew personally, but growing up, my mom always watched Jay Leno, late night TV in general, and I fell in love with Jay Leno. I don't know why, but I've always loved him. And then being a huge baseball guy, I love Dave Niehaus. Originally I wanted to be a baseball broadcaster. It's still a little bit there, but because of him. And so those people really got me excited about it, interested into it in the first place. And then I would say my video teacher in high school, in kind of like an opposite way, really motivated me, because at the time, me and like a few other of us, we're always a little bit creative and a little bit out of the outside, a little bit out there with our videos sometimes. And one time the teacher told us, or told me, Caleb, sometimes you just think a little bit too outside of the box. I need you to be a little bit more inside the box. And ever since then, I pretty much have done everything to be outside the box, inside the box when need be.
Yep.
And that kind of is where actually the name for Open-Ended Media came from as well.
Love it. What about your first equipment, Caleb, in media? Was it as simple as a camera just from Best Buy? Talk to me a little bit about that. Will it be a camera, a video camera? What were some of your first pieces of equipment?
I would say it's real young. My first piece of equipment, I think, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and so I remember going to Goodwill and getting a camera from I believe it was the '80s.
Love it.
Being able to hook it up, I hooked it up to our old TV, and just didn't have tape in it, didn't have anything, and just thought it was the coolest, craziest thing. I would say the first like equipment that I purchased. I actually, when I was going to Oregon State University, I was able to get some of the money back for my for like my grants and stuff by taking online classes because they were a little bit cheaper at my school because I was an out-of-state student. So one semester I was able to save about 3-4 grand, and there was this production company selling their cameras. There was two big broadcast cameras, a bunch of lighting equipment, sound equipment, a soundboard, everything, a bunch of stuff that a lot of it I had no clue how to use whatsoever. I just really wanted the cameras.
Yeah.
And at that time, especially at the time, it was the biggest purchase I had ever made. I'm in my car at the time was worth about $1,200. So
We've
that
all
was,
been there.
oh yeah, exactly. So it was kind of a crazy feeling having equipment that was valued more than my car inside my car. And it's funny to this day now, especially sometimes with some of the equipment I'm driving around with. That's still the case, depending on what kind of day it is.
Yeah. Yeah. What was your first paid gig? What was your first paid job?
Let's see.
Memory lane there.
My first I would.
Does any one stand out that your first paid opportunity?
Just with film in general.
Yeah. First media. It could be any type of film, videoing, still, whatever it happens to have been.
I'd say just being able to when I interned for CBS, I interned for The Bold and the Beautiful. Was able to do publicity, came back and did publicity for them, and then became a page with CBS.
Nice.
But in the midst of that time, I was able to write, produce, and film edit a commercial for Bold and the Beautiful for Christmas that we did. And I would say that would probably be my most my biggest one when I was that age, and my first big one. I even titled the file on the computer like "My Big Break" and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
But I think coming out once I became a drone pilot out here in Michigan is pretty much when I was just continuously starting to get paid for my work and different stuff. Other than that, especially while living in LA, it's really you're doing really well if you're being able to work and get paid for your work as well. So it's a little bit harder out there, and that's what's kind of nice about being out here, especially in the Midwest, in Michigan, Lansing specifically. It's not so crazy as it is out there.
Let's get right into your business there. Open-ended media, nothing but great things I hear about your business. That's absolutely fantastic. When did you decide, and give us a little backdrop here, when did you decide to make that leap? When you came to Michigan, talk a little bit about how you procured that business, how it came about, and how's it, how have you been able to scale that business here in Lansing ever since you began?
Well, when I first moved out, I moved out when I first moved out to Michigan, I moved out for work, and within the first month, that company fell through, and I was kind of figuring out, not sure exactly what to do, and I found an ad eventually that someone was looking for a drone pilot.
Yep.
And and so she eventually became my boss. It was Sarah Feldposh. She owned First Impression 3D, and so I was her drone pilot for a few years, for about 3 years. And then when she finally made when she made the step or the leap into real estate as an agent herself, I took over and bought the business from her. And that was about September, October this time last year.
Yeah.
And for me, there was no other option than to doing that. It was a little scary coming into the slow season of real estate,
Yep.
and taking over a business, making payments on this business and stuff.
Sure.
It was definitely very scary, but it was something that I've been wanting to do and wanting a dream of mine for years. I've always wanted a media company. I've always wanted something to be able to where no one can tell me I'm too outside of the box, where someone can tell me where they can't tell me, something, an idea or a video or something we may have. We can make whatever we want to, and whatever our clients want to, we're willing to make for them.
Sure.
And so.
Fantastic. Fantastic. What a great story. Uh, Talk a little bit about your services that you offer, Caleb. This is your chance to stand on the soapbox here. Talk a little bit about your services and what kind of services can you offer to real estate, to business, any type of events that you might cover, weddings or otherwise. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So originally, the focus of the company was, especially as First Impression 3D, was real estate photography.
Okay.
But I've always, especially coming from my background of videography first, photography kind of second, as I was growing up with it.
Sure.
I just had never taken as much time to take pictures. I was always just engulfed by doing video.
Yep.
And so that was my main goal, especially with this company, was bringing more of that into it. So, whether that's for real estate, video walkthroughs, also outside of real estate, we've done commercials, we've done promo videos for different sports teams, a soccer academy we've helped out with and stuff. And so there's really no limits for what we can do, but specifically in real estate, we offer interior exteriors and just full pictures for the entire house.
Sure.
We do floor plans with measurements, virtual tours, aerials. We put in plot lines for people just to kind of, add a little clarity to when you're looking at those pictures from above.
Love it.
But we do video walkthroughs.
Yep.
And I just got one of my new toys actually. I just got this not too long ago, and it's been a lot of fun. So this is they call it an FPV drone.
Okay.
First person view. So basically, put on the goggles, have a motion controller, and I basically can go weave in and go out of things. The enclosed propellers allow it to kind of like bump up to things, so to speak.
Love
And
it.
so we've done some really cool barn videos, going through different gardens, going over the water real close and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's been a lot of fun, and I'm always, with the company especially,
Mhm.
I'm always trying to add value.
Mhm.
If over time, absolutely, everybody has to raise prices and stuff like that.
Yep.
But we kind of always wanted to be like Little Caesars, where if we do ever have to raise prices, we
Yep.
at least want to give you more pepperoni or more value.
Absolutely.
And so that's really important to me. I've always been someone that can get frustrated with how different companies are run or how different management is done. And so I've always just wanted to make sure it's a very, for one, transparent, especially with my employees, and something that just makes you think of positive things when you hear it.
I got to imagine in the media business, you have stories. Tell me about one of maybe the funnest shoots, or maybe one of the kind of weirdest shoots that you've ever been involved in. Does anything come to mind?
Let's see.
Any projects?
I would say there's a few of them. One specifically where, with The Bold and the Beautiful, the soap opera that I worked for,
Yeah.
I got to go offset. We did a shoot at a mansion in the area.
Cool.
And there was a lot of stunt people there. There was someone getting pushed off a ledge and falling down a hill and all this other stuff. And so I would say that was probably one of the funnest ones I went on, just because I got to meet all the different the stunt people, which
Yeah.
at the time that was what I was more interested in.
Yep.
I still think those people are cooler than most jobs on the set. And yeah, just being there on set, that was a lot of fun. There was another one when I was still in college, and I took a team and like an assistant director, an actor, and then basically kind of like our driver around. We drove down to LA. I have a really good buddy who's a music artist down there, and he had some really good stuff. He's got some really good stuff, and so we put together a music video.
Sure.
It was kind of like it was basically like a murder mystery kind of thing. There was lots of blood involved.
Nice.
And we rented out a Beverly Hills hotel to like have the murder scene in.
Oh, that's cool.
And one of the what was it? The actress that we had that was murdered. We were done with the scene, got outside, and people were walking outside right as soon as she's just got blood everywhere. And we had been making a bunch of weird noises probably from filming and stuff, and they immediately turned the other way. We made sure to clean up pretty quick. We never got any former calls, later calls for it, but it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
I love doing it. I love doing music videos. Those are a lot of fun. Especially if I don't have to deal with audio, it makes everything a lot better.
Nice. Caleb, I know you do business, all businesses. I know you do events, but let's talk about real estate business I'm in. Talk to me. Do you think enough real estate agents are aware of the perks and the advantages of being able to use media for their real estate business and know how to access those individuals who can assist them, who can provide those services to them? What's your take on that?
My take on if enough real estate agents use this kind of like my kind of services or other ones that are offered in the community or all over the country,
Right.
is no, not enough of them do. Statistics show only 35% of agents actually use professional photography.
Yeah.
And only about 14 to 15% of those use high resolution photos.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of crazy with all the agents I work with, obviously they use photography, they use me, but there's so many agents, and that's where a lot of my cold calling comes in. Mm-hmm. Is going through Zillow and seeing, because Zillow and their algorithm, they put people that have non-professional photos down towards the bottom.
Right.
And so it's harder to see it, but I go down and I scroll down to those ones, the ones that have less views, the ones that obviously can use some work. And what I do is I like to get a hold of the agent and kind of compare their stats to other ones in the area that I've done.
Sure.
So, I had this one right down the street. We had professional photos. There was 1,000 views after a day or two. Yours on the is not very much, and I know we can bump that up, and so that's a big take for a lot of people. And I think even with the agents that are kind of a little bit stubborn about it and not wanting to kind of I take my own photos, I do my own videos and stuff like that. And a lot of times that can be fine, but you can tell that usually when what photos are done for that, and undoubtedly whenever I convince agents to use it, it's something that they know, or once they've used it, they know the results, and they never go back. And so once you see what a good photos can do to your listing, it's wild, especially now in a time like this with how the market is. a little bit slower than it has been over the last year or two, when a lot of times good photos weren't really necessarily needed because houses were selling so fast.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a little bit, they're not selling as fast. And so services like photo and video for those homes, just alone, just look a little bit better. But the biggest thing is just being in that algorithm with Zillow and Redfin and those other ones with professional photos, because without those professional photos, it's hard to get towards the top and it's hard to get as many views as the other ones do.
Yeah. Looking at the platforms, as somebody who is very cognizant of social media and otherwise, and putting yourself out there and putting your business out there, what's your take on? And I don't care really how what level of business you're in. It can never hurt to post on. And I'm asking you this question, to onto LinkedIn, onto TikTok, onto Facebook. Shouldn't a creator, as long as they either themselves dive into or maybe talk to somebody who's knowledgeable in as a social media management, where they're getting the hits, where they're getting the eyeballs, it's never too much. It's always smart to post on as many platforms as you can, correct? That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially what catches on Facebook won't necessarily catch on LinkedIn. What catches on Twitter isn't going to catch on TikTok. And so the platforms are used for different things. And that's what we use we've got a Facebook, a Twitter, a TikTok, a Facebook, and we use those all for different things. So like our Facebook is for silly memes here and there, about housing and real estate. A majority of ours is about the listings that we've done, just to kind of get the agents a little bit more viewership, and then also to get us a little bit more viewers by tagging those agents in it. So it kind of helps us both out. Twitter's kind of more something you want is based off on information, articles, different little, obviously with the character limit, it's small snippets and stuff. And TikTok especially is, with how things have changed, is one of the best ways to get information out. And if you're on social media, you've been watching these TikTok videos, or the agents who have made the move over and started getting a little bit of a TikTok following, or have just at least tried it, because with millennials being the largest buying group right now,
100%.
It's a completely different game than it has been before. People aren't going by the house and grabbing the piece of paper out and looking at the printed paper about the house. They want a virtual tour. They want drone photos. They want a video walkthrough, especially if they're out of state, because with how many people can work from home now, people are moving to places where they actually want to live, not where they have to live. And that's causing Lansing to be another sought after place once again. And so just being able to post on as many different platforms as possible is really helpful, because like I said, if it doesn't, it has a better chance to catch on in different places. Being active in those social medias with what they can bring you and kind of knowing how they can help you it can be really beneficial to your business.
I'll tell you, I think we're on the same page here. TikTok's a game changer. If people can learn how to post on TikTok, because the algorithm, without getting too many details here, is on interest. It's not on who's your friends, who you're connected with. It's on your interests. And if anybody's on TikTok and they know and they're scrolling through it, all your interests are going to come up there. And so that algorithm is based on that. So if you're looking for real estate, or if you are a realtor, that's going to be a good majority of your feed. That's a game changer. Anybody who can get knowledgeable on TikTok, I can't endorse that anymore. And I think you'll agree.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's a great tool, and it can be overwhelming at first. And trust me, I'm 30 years old, and I've been using social media since I was able to. And it is overwhelming at first.
You got to do your homework. You got to sit down and you got to play with it. Yep.
Yeah, you got to play with it. You got to make some mistakes along the way. And honestly, if you've got kids, ask your kids to help you. Ask somebody else around. Do your homework on the internet, kind of a thing. It's such a valuable tool because, like you said, your feed is your interest. So, like mine is a bunch of real estate. It's cool things to do around the country, around Michigan specifically. It's the stock market. It's different ways to make money because I'm always looking in entrepreneurial ways to continue to progress the business and myself as a business person as well.
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I can't endorse your business anymore. Everything I've heard about it. Where would you like to see open-ended media in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years? Are you looking to add any more services? Would you like to scale it up just in what you're doing? Is there any other services you would like to add to your kind of repertoire?
Yeah, so I see the company, especially in a few years, just continuously growing, but at a good rate. Something that's manageable, something that's scalable. I've already opened up a few areas. I've got a photographer in the sorry, oh shoot, what area is it? I'm completely blanking.
All right.
He's in the like Williamston area.
Mhm.
A little bit east of that. I've got someone up in Mount Pleasant. Me here in Lansing. I travel all over the state. I've got 2 different drone pilots, and then I've got a web social media guy, Colton. And then my Stephanie, she's like my glue for my company. She does a lot of the accounting, the bookwork, emails to people to kind of help me make sure I'm getting back to the customers, because my biggest thing about having this company, I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, is just being about the customer, doing what the customers need, and fix it if anything goes wrong, fixing it for them immediately, and just making sure that we keep that hometown feel always, no matter how big we get. I definitely have the plans to not only be a statewide company, but a nationwide company. Open-ended media will eventually, if everything goes right and according to plan, it's going to be a name that everybody knows.
Love it.
We're gonna, movie production. We're gonna be doing documentaries. That's something I'm really interested in. Got a bunch of ideas and some people set up for interviews and stuff. And so the options and the options, the sky is the limit. There's nothing that we're not willing to at least explore, to try to kind of figure out, how we can help customers more in an ever evolving technology world, video world, social media world, and just kind of helping people with that. And that's one of my favorite things, especially with real estate, is getting some of these agents kind of on board with the social thing, and then them seeing it work, and just kind of how appreciative they are of when that happens, and just so it's really cool. I really enjoy it, and
Love what you do, don't you?
I really I could talk about it all day.
I love
I
it.
really enjoy it. It's taken a while for me to get here. Like I said, there's lots of ups and downs, lots of failures, lots of failed attempts to do this, and just kind of and always kind of just struggling with having someone telling me what I can and what I can't do.
Yep.
And that's what led to this company. And I hope to always, with all my employees and with growing, just kind of be a company that people want to work for. I haven't had trouble finding help. I know some people right now with labor and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard out. It's kind of hard there, but I find that as long as you treat them right, you pay them good enough, get them, and just and make it more of a family than an employment. And that's what I want to always continue to do, and make sure that I'm always living up to.
Nice. At the end of every interview, Caleb, I typically throw some rapid fire questions out to my guests just to allow the audience to get to know them a little bit more. Are you game? Is that all right?
Yeah, let's do it.
What is Caleb Lewis's favorite local Lansing restaurant? You can say 1 or 2. How's that?
Oh, okay. Well, since I just
or cuisine, your favorite genre of cuisine. How's that?
Oh man, it is. There's a lot of good ones. I would say right just where we moved into the office
Yeah.
here on Waverly is Casanova.
Oh, nice.
They're awesome. They've got they've got pizza, all the things
Yeah.
Italian places have, pasta,
Yep.
all the good stuff. They're awesome, and their staff is really great. Their bar staff is fantastic. Shoot, and I would say probably my favorite, especially I would say like bar area or bar food area would be
Sure.
Moriarty's. I love that place, man.
Yep.
It's a little dark sometimes, but it's just one of the guys that runs it. Just all the wait staff is really like I'm really focused on, when people have good employees, when people make it enjoyable to be there, and those are places that definitely do, and I couldn't say enough good things about them.
I know you're a West Coast guy, but favorite Michigan travel destination that you've been to so far?
Ooh, okay. I could definitely name a few. There was with Traverse City has been fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I love their what was it? Ludington I went out to. Anywhere on the lakes. Like when I tell people and show people from back home that these lakes are oceans basically. Like they're not, the beaches are real beaches and stuff. It's crazy, and a lot of them don't believe it until I send pictures. So anywhere really on the lake. But I would say, Mackinac Island. There we go. I went there for my first time this year, and that place is so cool. I got a really cool picture of the Grand Hotel and a few of the things out from the water. Mackinac Island is just really cool. The people are awesome. Not being able to use a car is really cool. There's a lot of really cool Michigan spots. I heard Michigan is basically number one in in-state travel, or in-state, yeah, where more people in Michigan stay in Michigan to travel. And I mean, there's so much to do, and I really want to get to Sleepy Bear Dunes. I've heard a lot of cool things.
Just about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. That's it. So get it. Yeah, that's a great visit.
Not bad at all. I thought it was a lot further than that. So yeah.
No, you can get about everywhere in southern Michigan just in a couple of hours. So that's fantastic. So if you were to pull out your phone right now, what's one of your one or two favorite apps on your phone that you would tell somebody?
I don't know if they're necessarily like fun apps, but one of the apps that I use the most is probably for my invoices.
Sure.
That's
fun. That's how you get paid.
Exactly. It's how I get paid, how I keep the company going, how I get my employees paid.
Yeah.
I would say to this day, honestly, I use Snapchat a lot.
Yeah.
I just love, it's the easiest way for me to kind of keep people updated, especially living in Michigan, where a majority of my family and friends is on the West Coast somewhere. It's kind of just a nice, easy way to keep people updated, keep friends updated. I would say that would probably that, and using Wordle. My family and I have Wordle groups going on, and it gets pretty fierce at times.
That's awesome. Awesome. Any hobbies outside of media?
Hobbies, yeah, absolutely. I would say I love soccer. Baseball. I play on a vintage baseball team, the Lansing Capitals.
Nice.
So we play by 1864 baseball rules. There's no glove. We catch the ball with that. It's underhand pitching. It's like it's a gentleman's game, and so it's a lot of fun. This is our second year.
That's awesome.
The team is it's one of those things that it's more about like having a great time than it is winning. It's kind of like the best part of what Little League should be. But a bunch of grown men and women. It's a lot of fun. We have old time uniforms and stuff. Man, we had a tournament in Frankenmuth in the middle of July, and those things get hot.
Have you been to Comerica yet?
I have. I love it. It's a beautiful park.
Yes.
I love going to that park. I've got a poster up of all the different parks that I've gone to, and little scratch off pieces for the ones that I have. Cool. And I would say that's definitely one of my favorite ones. I love when the Mariners come in and play Detroit. I do like to root for Detroit when they're not always playing. And Seattle, we haven't always been great in sports, so it's easy to feel for other places like Detroit has for with baseball and football and stuff.
Has anybody taught you into being a Wolverine or a Spartan yet?
Um, A little bit. There's definitely been some trying on both sides, but I worked for, and technically still every now and then I help out MSU's their medical department with help with teaching a little bit, and then also being a standardized patient, so like a fake patient for them, so they can get better at their different exams and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I would say I would probably lean more Michigan State, but I'm a little agnostic in my thoughts for.
Well, your sports. Is it Cougars or Huskies?
Huskies. Being from Washington, Huskies.
Ducks,
what?
or Beavers? Ducks or Beavers?
Oh, Beavers. I'm a Beaver myself. Go Beavs.
Love it.
And oh yeah, Oregon State was a blast. We were never great. Just kind of in the Pacific Northwest, we've never really been great at sports. Oregon State, we were never great at sports, but I've always been a diehard fan. I think when I lived in LA, someone was like, you know what, like, because I would have the Sounders game on, I would have the Storm game, the WNBA Storm on.
Sure.
The Mariners, anything that was on, I would watch them. The Seahawks, I think at that time were 4-12. They went 4-12 the year. Someone was just said, Caleb, no matter what, you're always watching your team. Like they're usually terrible, but you're always there watching them.
Yep.
That's cool. It sucks you have bad teams, but that's cool, man.
Caleb, well, your business is knocking out of the park. Congratulations to you. Again, I've heard nothing but great things about you, and thus I wanted to get you on the program and your take on these things. Keep up the good work. Where can folks find you on social media, phone, email? Go ahead and spout it. Promote your company.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me, Caleb Lewis. Type in if you need to Lansing to help you a little with the search. My company, though, especially, if you really want to get a hold of me, this QR code right here.
So smart.
If you want to scan these, I highly recommend QR codes. They took a minute to develop. It kind of died for a little bit, but they are, now that they're integrated into people's cameras, highly recommend them. I've even seen success of just leaving a QR code around town, and people get curious and wonder, what the heck is that?
Yep. What's your email?
Email is caleb@openendedmedia.com.
Okay. Caleb with a C. Mm-hmm.
Caleb with a C. Yep, right here. Caleb with a C. Oh, that side right there. I inverted the camera. Yep. And then you can find us on Facebook at Open-Ended Media.
Yep.
We post a bunch of different houses. We're posting a few different tips and stuff, how to get your house ready for listing photos, how to kind of stage it a little better.
Nice.
We just kind of want to be more of a resource to not only the agents especially, but to the buyers and sellers in the market.
Bringing value. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And we've got a Twitter at Open-Ended Media, and then our TikTok is at Open-Ended Media as well. We'd love to have you guys take a look, take a follow. And perfect. Tim, I really appreciate it. Thank you for letting me come on, letting me have my company here and the platform. Just kind of, not only that, but just kind of help people, or maybe give a few tips with social media and how they can use that and progress their company.
Absolutely. Well, Caleb, it's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate your time. Want to be respectful of your time. Have a great weekend. Thank you for being here. Good luck with the company. You're the sky's the limit for you guys. You're doing great work. Keep it up.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And right. We'll be in contact. And thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks, Caleb.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.